I really like computers, so at school, I quickly became the computer kid, which was fine, but I always felt like I was so much more than that, you know? One thing that helped was a project I did in the 6th grade. Our teacher split the class into 3 groups. We were gonna make movies. Whoa. My friend Scott and I wrote our group script about a nerdy kid who wins a basketball game and finally gains the respect of his whole class. You know, because obviously I knew how it felt to be liked by everyone, and I just wanted to show everyone else. I played the main character, and since I was the only one who knew how to use the camera, I also ended up filming and editing the whole thing. I was a little upset that I did so much by myself, so I put my name in the credits like a dozen times. When everyone finished their movie, we threw a little red carpet premiere so parents could come and watch. My mom couldn't get off work, so I was kinda on my own. While the seats filled up, it hit me that this would be the first time anyone else had seen mine, and I got really nervous that people would hate it. I worked so hard, but I had never done this before, and my name was all over it. If it was bad, everyone would know that I was bad. So I sat in the back of the room while everyone watched. I couldn't really tell what they thought, but when it finished, they clapped. They really seemed to like it, and the best part was when my crush said that my movie was her favorite. Hi, Morgan! I was still the computer kid, but now I was also kinda the video kid, when I wanted to be. It felt cool. In the 8th grade, I met Jeremy, who introduced me to Rob. They were into filmmaking too, and Jeremy had a camera. So after school, we'd make little sketches for Jeremy's channel. He had almost 30 subscribers, which I remember thinking was a lot. Also, his mom made us use fake names, and I guess I didn't pick mine fast enough because suddenly, and without being consulted, I became Barry. We never got a ton of views, but that didn't matter. We were having fun. I wasn't always the most confident in school, but I was the video kid, so I felt like I could try things, even if they were pretty cringy. Like in one video, I had to run down a path where there was a bunch of branches in my way. I ducked and dodged, but it's not totally clear what I'm doing, so it looks like I just run weird. But then I do a totally sick parkour roll, so I guess that makes up for it. I was embarrassed by those videos for a long time, but now it's fun to look back and see how far I've come. Besides, I had nothing to be embarrassed about. Making stuff is always cool. Luckily, Jeremy didn't delete his channel, but most of the vlogs and sketches and claymation things I made when I was younger are gone forever because I didn't think they were good enough. Which is dumb because everything I learned making stuff for fun got me a job working for a YouTuber I really admire, Hank Green. He's the guy who started VidCon. I was so excited to move out of my mom's house, I made sure to take everything I owned with me. I got my dream job, and now I was a VidCon employee. Everything clicked into place. It was like the random projects and videos I had been making for fun had actually been designed to make me the best life I could imagine all along. I felt really lucky to be there, even if I didn't fit in too well. My coworkers were really nice. I was just way younger than them. This was my first real job, and I was living on my own for the first time, so I was figuring out how to grocery shop while they were having kids. We were at different stages in life, but it was so hard for me to see at the time. Like, I'm the only one who doesn't have things figured out. What's wrong with me? And since I was new in town, I didn't know anyone outside of work. One time I went to a computer meetup thing to hopefully find some people my age, but like 3 old dudes showed up who already knew each other, and I guess they weren't very good with computers after all because I never got the invite to the next one. I was pretty lonely. But this is my dream job. This is as good as it gets. I'll never find anything this good ever again. I should be happy. Why aren't I happy? One day, on a whim, I asked my boss something like, if I quit, how much would that mess things up for you? I think part of me was hoping he'd say, you can't quit, we need you, but he didn't. We talked about everything I'd need to do before leaving. We even decided what my final day would be, and before I knew it, it was over. After more than 2 years, I wasn't a VidCon employee anymore. I really did like working there, and my coworkers really were so good. I didn't even know what I was gonna do next, but I was quitting my dream job. What was I thinking? After my last workday, I remember sitting on the floor of my apartment with my mom. She had come to help me pack, and as the boxes filled up, it hit me that I had just thrown away the best thing that would ever happen to me, and there really was no going back. My mom let me stay with her until I figured out what was next, so we moved all of my stuff back to her house. One morning, my mom came in and asked if I had been on the phone in the night, but when I told her I fell asleep really quickly, she said, "Oh, it sounded like you were saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I was straight up crying in my sleep. Leaving was supposed to make me feel better, but I didn't even know who I was anymore. So I told myself that quitting VidCon would be the biggest mistake of my life, until I made something better happen. Working there taught me enough about the inner workings of YouTube that I was pretty sure I could be a YouTuber, and I got to work. I tried a few things, but eventually decided that I like telling stories the most. A few animated story channels were suddenly doing well too, so it seemed like a smart move. I spent a month planning things out, writing scripts, and sending audio clips to everyone I knew to get their opinions. I didn't know how to draw yet, but I did have a theory. When it came to the types of videos I wanted to make, the visuals might just be the least important part. It doesn't matter how beautiful a video is, if the story is bad, nobody will want to watch. And I had listened to enough podcasts to know that stories could be incredibly entertaining with just audio. As everything shaped up, I became convinced this would work. I had never been the art kid before, but I wasn't gonna let that stop me, so I did something recklessly optimistic and spent almost all of my savings on a drawing tablet. Now this had to work. I'm gonna teach you a thing about YouTube. When you first create a channel, the videos you upload aren't recommended. YouTube doesn't know who will like them or how much they'll watch, so starting fresh can be hard. Before you get in recommended, you first need to get enough organic views that the algorithm can decide how good your videos are. Okay, back to the story. I uploaded my first animated story and tried my best to promote it. It got a couple hundred views and people seemed to like it, but it didn't get any recommended traffic. I posted my second video, promoted it more, and people liked it too, but no recommendations yet. I thought they were genuinely entertaining, I just needed to get them in front of more people. There was a channel with over 1 million subscribers that would sometimes collab with people who were just starting out, which seemed like a good bet. I emailed him and asked if he would read lines for me. I used to work for Hank Green after all, so I kinda know what I'm doing, but he said no. So I said, please? He agreed, but later I found out that it was just because he thought I could get him into VidCon. Like, I quit. I couldn't even get myself into VidCon. Jaden told me that when she saw my first video, she was like, holy crap, how did he start good? Which was so nice. Little did she know. Anyway, I worked as hard as I could to make my third video awesome. I stressed over every detail and even spent a whole day on the thumbnail so I didn't waste the opportunity. Then one morning I woke up in really bad pain. I didn't have health insurance, and even though I didn't have too many expenses, thanks mom, the reckless optimist in me had just gone all in to buy equipment. I couldn't afford to go to the hospital. But the pain got worse, and that night my mom had to take me to the emergency room. Turns out that everything was fine, I just needed to eat more fiber. It helps you poop. What can I say? Being super stressed out does weird things to you. So I loaded up on Metamucil because suddenly I had a huge hospital bill to worry about. This had to work now. In all honesty, I should have stopped. I should have switched to plan B, get a job at the first place that hired me, go back to college, and stop wasting time. But I had spent more than 2 years working for a YouTuber. I learned firsthand what it takes, and I couldn't let myself throw all that away for nothing. There was a part of me that just wanted to give up. I don't want to get too dark, but honestly, there's been a lot of times that I really wanted to give up. And this was one of them. I told my mom, and if there's one thing she was right about, it's that you never know what tomorrow will bring. She always says that. Thanks, Mom. So I finished the video. There had been a few dozen collabs like this before me. The most viewed one at the time had about 100,000 views, and the lucky ones got an impressive 5% of people to subscribe, so it seemed like the best case scenario was that I might get 5,000 subscribers. I tried not to get my hopes up though. That first week, I gained almost 600 subscribers from being in a collab playlist, which was awesome. I remember sitting at dinner with my mom and cheering when I hit 700. Then things started to slow down, but the algorithm must have finally gathered enough data to decide how much to recommend my videos, and I guess it decided that everybody should see this because suddenly all 3 of my videos were being recommended like crazy. The next week, I rocketed to 1 million views out of nowhere, and a whopping 10% decided to subscribe. Thanks for that, by the way. Everyone has those moments where just when it looks like things can't get any worse, they do. Which is like, what the heck, life? But the opposite is true too. After years of trying to figure out who I am and sometimes having to fight really hard to not give up entirely, the pieces eventually came together. I'm still the computer kid, and the video kid. I never would have guessed that I'd become the art kid, let alone the YouTube kid, but now I get to be all of those people and more. Sometimes I still want to give up, but by now I've learned not to. Like my mom always says, you never know what tomorrow will bring. If you want to see the videos I made way back in the day with my friend Jeremy, click here to check out A Brief History of Tim Tom by my other friend Ryder, where he talks about all the stuff that I did before making cartoons. Most of what I made as a kid is long gone, but we were able to dig up some of it, and he turned it into a video. How cool is that? Okay, bye!